Hello and welcome to Unknown Audio. I've got a very quick tutorial for you today, and I just thought I'd show you quite a fun way to use the Tremolo plugin in Logic just to get some interesting effects to a sound. Okay, so I'm going to play you this new track that I'm working on, and then I'll just walk you through one of the sounds in particular where I'm using this effect on. So here goes. Okay, so there we go. We've got a bit of a lo-fi hip-hop kind of beat there, and the sound that I want to concentrate on is this one here, which is a Yamaha grand piano sound. So let me just play that quickly with the effects. Okay, so all of the tremolo effects are happening on bus sends, so I'm going to disable those for a second. Actually, I'll tell you, I'll take the processing off the main channel as well for the EXS24 sampler that's is where I'm generating this sound. So if we come to the EXS24 quickly, if you go into factory acoustic pianos, you'll find the Yamaha grand piano in there. So on its own, without any processing, that sounds like this. Oh, hang on, bear with me, sorry, I've got the fader turned all the way down. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. I've added a little bit of processing on the actual channel strip. So EQ just to cut the lows, extreme lows and highs. I'm adding some saturation with this free saturation knob plugin from Softube. And I'm compressing the sound using one of the Logic compressors. And then I'm adding tape delay, although it's not actually delaying the sound at all. I've unsynced this and I've pulled the delay time down to 0.0 milliseconds, so we're getting no delay whatsoever, and that's basically just adding a bit of tape saturation to the sound. So which is quite a nice little effect, I think. Okay, so the real effect that I'm creating, I'm doing using 3 iterations of the Tremolo plugin on different bus ends. Now, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Before I show you how I've done it, what I'll do is I'm going to chuck a Tremolo plugin on the actual channel strip. Now, I'm just going to disable this for a second. Now, I played these chords in manually, just using my computer keyboard, and I didn't play them perfectly in time. I think I have moved some of these MIDI regions around a little bit to get it a bit closer to in time, but I quite liked the loose feel to it, so I didn't want to quantize. However, on listening back, I still felt it was a little bit too rough. And what I was thinking is if I threw a tremolo plugin on there, I could set it to quarter notes or 8 notes and kind of bring it back into a synced rhythm, but still hopefully keep some of the essence of that kind of live kind of humanness in the playing. And the way that I was using this was the first thing I would do is to set this phase, rather than have it on 180 degrees, set this to 0, so that both the left and the right are in phase with each other. They're not delayed independently, the left and the right channel. And what I tend, when I use the Tremolo plugin, this is the way that I would generally use it. For me, this Tremolo plugin used in this way becomes like an instant sort of LFO, and it allows us to duck the volume down in a rhythmical way. So let me turn this on. And obviously we can change the rate, so if I come up to say 8th notes, and we can play with the smoothing and the symmetry. So when we've got it set very short like this, we're basically getting a very short amount of time where the signal's allowed through, and the gap where the volume ducks down is greater. So a much more staccato sound. We can open this and do it the other way, so that the notes are happening for longer and the gap where the volume's ducking down is shorter. Now, I suppose in most situations, I'll probably leave this around 50%. And the smoothing, we go from a very stuttery sound to a much smoother kind of, so a much smoother sound. So you can play with those settings however you like. So I think I was using it somewhere like this. So the symmetry roughly 50%, and the smoothing, I want it quite choppy, but I don't want it too clippy sounding. So there's some smoothing going on there. And what I was doing is I was playing with the different rate amounts, and I decided I liked the 8th note setting, but I also liked the quarter note setting. So what I did, I'm just going to disable this one quickly. I set up 2 buses. So the first one on bus 4 has got this tremolo, and I've set this one to, oh excuse me, sorry, this one's on 16th note. So I thought I was using 8th note and quarter notes. Let me check the other one. Okay, so I've got quarter notes on one, 16th notes on the other. I do beg your pardon. Okay, so we'll concentrate on the first one. And basically what I'm doing is I'm panning one of the sends hard left. So the auxiliary channel on send 4, on bus 4, sorry, I've panned hard left. And then if I come to bus 5, I've panned that one hard right. So let me solo bus 4 for a second. So the other thing I should mention is that what I'm doing is I'm sending all of these buses on a pre-fader, so that means that this fader amount here doesn't affect the send going, or the amount going to the send channel. So even with this fader pulled all the way down, we're still getting the signal being sent to those buses, and it's still audible on those auxiliary channels. So okay, there we go. Okay, so So that's what's happening on the left channel. I do have that sending to a reverb as well on from the auxiliary channel. I've also added a noise gate, and this was really to chop the sound a bit more. So you can see the settings I've got there. I'm not sure it's making a great deal of difference, but I quite liked the choppiness, which again I probably could have done in the tremolo, kind of taking the smoothness right the way down. But anyway, so let me come to the right channel. So on the right channel, I've got the tremolo set to, hang on, that's not the right one. Sorry, bear with me. So I've got this one set to quarter notes. And again, I'm using a noise gate. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's making too much of a difference. I could just dial the threshold up a little bit there. But together, I think they sound quite, I think it makes quite an interesting sound. So in the left and the right channels, we've got a different sort of rhythmical pattern happening, which if I play them together, which gives us quite a nice effect, really. The only thing that I'm doing apart from that is I've sent it to another bus. This on bus 7, and this one I've left with the panning down the center. Again, I've added another tremolo. This one is set to quarter note triplets. So let me just mute the other two. So this one is the tremolo is more closely following the rhythm of the chords as they were played. I've got the symmetry set down a little bit from the other two, and that was just to sort of shorten up those notes a little bit. Now I'm also EQing this one quite drastically. I've cut out a lot of the lows below sort of 400 hertz. High shelf, again cutting out the extreme highs. So we're just concentrating on the mid and high frequencies with this sound. And then I'm sending that also, I'm sending that also to a reverb, but I'm also using this ring shifter. And I've got the delay dialed in here, so I've got the delay time at 188 milliseconds, if I can read that, and the level up at 0.66. So that's given us, I was basically wanting to kind of fill out the sound in between the left and the right channels. As much as I like the effect that we're getting sort of happening in the left and the right, I felt like it was too stereo in the sense that there was something happening in the left, something happening in the right, and there wasn't anything kind of gelling it together in the middle, which is why I added this extra send channel. So without the center, without this bus 7 with the kind of center panned tremolo effect with the ring shifter on it, it sounds like this. And now with that unmuted, it sounds like this. Okay, so let me just give you a quick. So I'm gonna have to just let's unsolo all of those. Let me disable all of the send channels, and I'm just gonna bring back the fader amount so you can hear what's going on, and I'll give you a sort of a quick A/B of the kind of sound that we're getting. So this is the straight sound, and let me bring you to a bit where we've got some drums and everything else happening. So you can probably see what I mean about the way it's been played in is a little bit, it's not quite perfectly in time. So, and you can kind of hear that. Sometimes I do like that kind of quality. It gives a more sort of human kind of sensibility to the sound. But I quite like this effect because we're bringing it back much more to a synced up rhythm, but you still got that sort of flavour, I think, of the kind of slightly humanness to the playing. So there we go. That's a quick little tip for how to use the tremolo in Logic. I just want to quickly show you this sound here, which is basically the same sound, which I did something quite interesting to. I'll just play it for you quickly. And if I just take all the processing off this, I'll just play it for you raw. Oh, let me just solo it as well. Now the way I got this sound was to record it out of Logic, out of my audio interface, and I actually plugged it into an old tape recorder. I recorded it onto tape and then rewound the tape and recorded it back into Logic to get a real kind of analog tape kind of, it's a very gritty kind of low quality lo-fi sound, but that's kind of what I wanted to do. And just while we're on the subject, I also did the same thing with the drums. So you can probably hear this kind of the hum that we're getting from the tape there. Sorry, I'm doing some strange stuff with panning. Let me come back down to the I believe this one shouldn't have any panning on it. So you can probably hear the noise that we're getting from the tape. Now in the actual tune, I'm EQing out a lot of those low frequencies, so we're not hearing any of that. But so that's another interesting little thing that I'm doing with this track. But yeah, there we go. Hope you liked that one today. Very quick tutorial on how to use the tremolo in Logic to get some interesting sort of rhythmical panning effects. Okay, I'll be back soon with another video. Until then, have fun, guys. Make some music. You know, hit the like button, subscribe, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I'll see you again real soon, I hope. Peace.